Hi and welcome to Mark Deeks Music. This video is called Which Finger Is It? We're going to focus on looking at the fingers. That's why we've got this over the head camera shot. We're going to talk about which finger is which, what we call them, how we refer to them in piano playing, and watch out, it's different to if you're used to playing guitar. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, to subscribe to the channel, and in the description below I'm going to be putting a link where you can get a free piano lesson sent direct to your inbox. All you have to do is go to the link markdeeksmusic.com/beginner. If you're watching this on Facebook, that link's going to be in the comments below. So don't forget markdeeksmusic.com/beginner, and I'll send you a free video piano lesson straight to your inbox. Oh, and stick around for the end of this video because I'm going to be showing you your first strength and stamina exercises to start building the strength in your fingers and set you well on the way to becoming a piano legend. Right, let's get started. Right hand first of all. So the first and most important thing to learn when it comes to piano playing is when we number our fingers and we talk about which finger is which, it's not left to right. That might sound surprising when I tell you that your thumb is number 1 and your little finger is number 5. So how is it not left to right? And that's because in both hands, it's your thumb that's number 1 and your little finger is number 5. So on your left hand, it's the other way around if you're thinking about whether you're talking about left and right. So without trying to confuse you, let's just focus on one hand to get started. So the most important thing to remember is your thumb is number 1. And you can practice this without a piano. And I'm a big fan of trying to get people on their piano journey without worrying too much about whether they've got a posh piano or keyboard in front of them. So the first thing to get used to is just referring to your fingers by name. So your thumb is number 1, your index finger number 2, your middle finger number 3, your ring finger number 4, and your little finger number 5. So if I say I want you to use your second finger on something, that's your index finger. If I say I want you to use your fourth finger on something, that's your ring finger. Okay? Now, as I said at the start of the video, that's different to if you're used to playing guitar, because in guitar playing, your index finger is number 1. Whereas in piano playing, your index finger is number 2. So that's a really important distinction to get used to. As I said before, your left hand, the thumb is still number 1. It's not left to right. So your second finger is always your index finger on both hands. Your third finger is always your middle finger on both hands, and so on. So, which finger is it? We'll refer to fingers either by just number 1 to 5. Remember, your thumb is number 1 on both hands. It's not left to right. And if we say things like your second finger or your third finger, we're talking about in that case, your index finger on both hands, your middle finger on both hands, your fourth finger is your ring finger on both hands, and so on. So, I promised you I'd show you some exercises to start building your strength and stamina when it comes to playing the piano. So let's look at the right hand first of all. So all I want you to do is put your 5 fingers on the piano or the keyboard if you've got one. If you haven't, don't worry, you can do this on your leg or a table, any hard surface or whatever it is. And we're just going to practice moving from your thumb up to your little finger and back down again. So starting on your first finger, going all the way through to your 5th finger and back down. Now granted, at this point that doesn't sound like really adventurous music, but what we're doing is we're getting your fingers used to working independently of each other. Okay? Many of the tasks that you do in everyday life, your hand works as a team, the fingers go together, you push something or you grab something or hold something. Whereas in piano playing, your fingers need to work entirely independently. And I often tell people, really the only thing you can compare it to is if you can touch type on a computer keyboard where the fingers are all working independently. That's really the closest thing I can tell you to how piano playing technique works. So going from 1 to 5 and back down. And speed is really unimportant. What I want you to focus on is trying to give your exercise a pulse. If the pulse is slow, or as you get a bit better, the pulse can be fast. It's really not important, but try and make it so that the pulse is even, whatever the speed is. So that's from number 1 up to number 5 and back down. Try and make it so that the sound is smooth, so there's no gaps between the notes. And then when you think you've got your hang of doing that one exercise, what I want you to try and do, and this is how you build up strength and stamina, I want you to try and do the same exercise once, then twice without stopping, then 4 times without stopping, and so on. So, if you were to do it twice without stopping, you'd get this. And so on. Then, when you think you've got your hang of that exercise, I want you to try alternating where every other note is a number 1. Every other note is your first finger, that's your thumb. So play 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. I'll show you that again. So we're alternating with every other note is a number 1, a first finger, a thumb. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. Remember, your wrist should be roughly the height of the top of the white keys. Don't let your wrist drop down. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. And like before, try to do the same exercise more than once in a row to start building up some strength and stamina in your fingers. And you're trying to keep your fingers in contact with the keys at all times. Don't let them stick up in the air like this. We don't want to see this, where your fingers are coming away from the keys as you're playing. All the fingers need to stay in contact with the keys, even if you're not using that finger at that moment. If you get bored of the sound of having your thumb on a middle C, put it somewhere else on the piano. Branch out a bit. And that's how you start to build up the strength and stamina in your fingers. Essentially, you can do any pattern you like, any order of the notes you like. It doesn't really matter. But to get started, I always recommend those two. Start with number 1, go up to number 5 and back down. Do that twice, 4 times. You can do 6 or 8, however many you want. You just, in many ways, just like building up stamina doing anything else, you're doing something for longer and longer each time. And then do the exercise where everything is alternating to a number 1. So it keeps returning to your thumb. Keep the fingers on the keys. Keep your wrist in line with the top of the keys so everything's nice and relaxed and in a straight line. And see if you can build up that. And get used to the fact that your thumb is number 1, your little finger is number 5. So if someone says use your 4th finger, it's ring finger. If someone says use your 2nd finger, it's index finger. And so on. And when you think you've got the hang of that, by all means, then you start looking at the left hand. And to do the same notes as you've just played in your right hand, now the numbers will be reversed. So you'll start with number 5 and go up to number 1 and back down. And for the same notes for the second exercise, everything will be alternating with a number 5 instead of alternating with a number 1 like it was before. So 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 1. It might take a few days, even a few weeks before you get ready to do that. Certainly more than once. Focus on your right hand first of all, even if you're left-handed. Do the right hand first and then start having a go at the left hand. I hope that helps you. There's more and more of these video tips coming soon. Don't forget, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. In the description below is a link to a beginner video lesson, markdeeksmusic.com/beginner, and I'm going to put that link in the comments if you're watching this on Facebook too. Tag a friend if you think this can help anyone, and I look forward to bringing you more tips soon. Thanks for watching.